Jeff, Craig, congratulations. You both made it through to the Forged and Fire final, and you're both one step closer to a check for $10,000. In the first 2 rounds of competition, you forge a weapon in your signature style. Now we're sending you back to your home forges, where you will forge an iconic weapon from history. The Warhammer.
Nice.
The Warhammer is a medieval weapon developed in the 14th century. They came about primarily as a response to advanced armor technology. By this time, the armorers had created suits of plate armor that was so hard and smooth that swords would bounce off them. The Warhammer could deliver its full force to the target and do serious damage without having to penetrate the armor. Its steel head with a spike on one side had a handle that varied in length, but was generally just long enough to be wielded with one hand. The spiked end could be used for hooking the target's legs, reins, or shield, or used as an armor-piercing device. As the use of body armor declined, so did the need for the Warhammer. However, it can still be seen today in the popular film trilogy, The Hobbit, and has lent its name to the board game, Warhammer. Good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
I'm happy to be here at the Home Forge. I'm in my element. I know what all my tools are. I know how to use my tools. So being here at home's a big advantage for me. It takes a lot of steel to make the amount of Damascus that I'm going to make. The plan for the day is to get my Damascus made. I'm going to take the 2 dissimilar metals. I'm going to heat them up in my forge, get everything hot. I'm going to flux them, keep the oxygen out of there so the scales doesn't form. Then I'm going to beat them together. I'm feeling a little nervous right now making this Damascus. I could get a bad weld. If I get a bad weld in it, everything I've done so far is ruined. It's not a serviceable weapon at that point. I'd have to scrap it and start again.
I'm halfway through day 2, and I'm getting the horns on the ram's head now. I'm bending the horns down to have like a very organic curve to it. I run out of oxygen on my oxyacetylene torch. I'm not exactly where I want to be on the horns, the hammerhead. It's starting to wear on me. I'm just gonna have to come in the morning, focus, and hustle, and make sure I'm doing things right. Don't make any mistakes. I don't have any room for that.
Right, now ready to rock and roll. Yesterday was a busy day for me. I got the Damascus forged for my head, and I've got it squared to about the right dimensions. Hammerhead's gonna start taking shape for me today. The langlets are pretty much gonna lock everything in. That is cool. I'm looking at these sharp corners in these slots, and I know that I'm gonna have a problem with this if I try to full quench it. Where I put the langlet pockets in there, that can crack. It's thinner than everything else. I could literally end up with 2 pieces of hammer. I'm gonna do a differential heat treat on it. I'm gonna try to harden the front and harden the back, but leave the middle soft. If I crack the hammer while I'm quenching it, that could be disastrous for me.
Yesterday, I was able to get the hammerhead finished with all the detail, get it quenched, and today I'm getting into the handle. My plan is to add some upholstery rivets down the sides and the front and back of the handle. It's gonna be a mix of unique decorative work and traditional style Warhammer with the spike and the hammerhead. Pretty happy with that.
Gentlemen, the Warhammer was primarily a close quarters weapon, but it was devastating to anything it went up against, which occasionally was a castle door. So I'm going to take several strikes against this oak door to see how well the pick on your weapon penetrates. Craig, you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Craig, this really felt great in my hands. It's got a nice balance to it. Your pick, I don't see any real distortion on it. The shape of your pick with that nice drop hook to the end of it really penetrated well, and you could see when I got it in that door how hard it was to remove.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Appreciate it.
Beautifully executed.
Thank you.
So, Jeff, your turn. You ready?
We'll smash it.
All right. So, we started losing pieces. I could tell that they're on there only decoratively, so I was able to continue on. Good thing, head's still right and tight.
All right.
The way your pick leans out towards the front gave a lot of penetration. I was really able to just blow parts out of this door. Nicely designed,
Thank
well
you.
executed.
Thanks.
Bladesmiths, now it's time for the kill test. War hammers have been known to deliver piercing blows into armor and crush the person behind it. I will deliver strikes at this ballistic dummy that's wearing armor. Then we can see how much lethal damage your war hammer can give. Craig, you're up. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do it. Craig, love the balance of this blade. No indentations. Now let's see how much damage we put on the dummy. No visible broken bones, but it definitely did pierce the skin. Nice. This will definitely kill. Nicely done, sir. Thank you. Jeff, you're up next. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jeff, looks like the other lunge did break off. But you know what? This is still very sturdy. But let's see how much damage is done internally. He's got some broken ribs right here. Broken bones throughout. It went all the way through. And even through armor, you pierce the skin and you cause some internal damage. Jeff, your weapon will kill.
Awesome.
Good job.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, this is the strength test. The warhammer was a favorite on the medieval battlefield. So I'm going to take your warhammer, and to test its strength and durability, I'm going to take several blows against our stone wall and see how much of this I can move. Craig, you're up.
All right, let's do it.
Wow, that held up really well. And that's pretty much a hole I could crawl through. That'll work.
Perfect.
So the handle, what I do like is I could swing it one-handed, but with two hands, I could generate a heck of a lot of energy. Beautiful job.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Jeff, you're up.
Let's knock it down.
It's long, and when I was swinging, it was way out in front of me as opposed to being close and in control. Shot some sparks off.
Right. Seen that.
All in all, a good performance.
Great.
Craig, Jeff, you were given 5 days at your home forge to fabricate war hammers, and they both performed very well in our weapons tests. But there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Craig, you are the Forged in Fire champion. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeff, your weapon did not make the cut. Please surrender your warhammer.
I respected the judge's decision. If I knew what I knew now, I would have changed some things.
Craig, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion.
It was a fun challenge.
Craig, you will also be receiving a check for $10,000.
I'm just stoked. It's crazy. This experience, it was a grueling process. You know, I got to do something that I really enjoyed and I'm really passionate about. I came here for my son. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
My name is Josh Weston. I got into bladesmithing from Spartacus. Something inside of me lit on fire, and I had to make swords.
I'm Jason Reddick. I started making blades when I was a kid with my grandfather. I'm 100% self-taught.
Jason, Josh, congratulations, you've made it to the final round. When you came here, we asked you to forge a blade in your signature style using our tools and our forges. Now we're sending you home to create an iconic blade from history. The Kukri.
Hell yes.
The Kukri is a blade issued to Nepalese soldiers known as the Gurkhas. During the Anglo-Nepalese War in the early 19th century, the Kukri became renowned in the Western world for its versatility on the battlefield. The Kukri's unique curved design and angle of the blade gives it the ability to slice and chop simultaneously. The Gurkha soldiers were said to be so skilled with the Kukri that it acted as an extension of their arm. Today, the Kukri is far more visible worldwide, seen in films like Resident Evil Extinction and Big Trouble in Little China. It must be a fully functioning, authentic version of that deadly weapon.
I'm really nervous because I know literally nothing about this blade.
You will have 5 days to complete this challenge. Good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Let's crank the heat. Woo! I am very, very happy. Me likey. The mid bar is welded together. I've drawn out a new piece of steel. I'm forge welding them together. There's a lot of forging left to be done. I am doing my damnedest to win this thing. I've got to try to quench this thing. It's gonna be difficult to get an even temperature. The quench is the most critical part of the sword build. All right, who's ready? This is it. If this blade doesn't survive the quench, I'm sunk. There's just no coming back from it. 3, 2, 1. I'm finding absolutely nothing wrong with this blade. Everything is exactly as it should be. I have a blade! Woo-hoo-hoo!
Now that I'm back home, I feel much more at ease. I'm used to my equipment. I've got a wonderful family, and if I could win this, it would mean all the support that my family's given me over the years is, you know, they've been correct to do it. This is a lot larger of a kukri than I've made before. So it's gonna be a little bit more forging and stuff than what I'm used to. Yeah, I wish the head was a little bit wider. I think it'll be all right. Got the blade shaped up the way I wanted. The blade seems nice and straight. I'm leaving it to cool now. We're good, and I can heat treat it. Gotta be real careful not to move it. Just let this thing sit still inside the oil and completely cool down. At this point, I hope I got time to get everything done. All right.
That's good.
Jason, Josh, welcome back. Many battles Gurkha soldiers have fought were defending forts just like this one. So we thought it would be an ideal place to test your kukris. We will now put both of your weapons through a series of tests. First up, the strength test. Doug?
Bladesmiths. Kukris were multi-purpose knives as well as weapons of war. It was also used commonly to clear the fields of Nepal as well as chop wood. To test the strength of your kukri, I will cut through these sugar canes. Jason, you're up. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm getting nervous because it's all out of my hands now.
Well, Jason, this is a beast.
Thank you.
I do not see any indentations in your blade at all, so it cut nicely. But the handle construction is very hard to hold on to because it's very smooth.
Yeah.
But once again, it did its job. Good job.
Thank you.
Josh, you're up. You ready?
I'm ready. Is this thing even gonna hold up and come out in one piece at the end? I have no idea.
Well, Josh, I don't see any indentations on your edge over here. I like the balance. Your handle is nice and comfortable around the hand. I was able to maintain control of it. And the edge is sharp enough to cut through these sugar canes. Good job.
I think coming out of the sugarcane test, we're at a tie right now.
All right, gentlemen, next up is the kill test. The Kukri is a powerful weapon in combat. So much so that in 1814, 22,000 British soldiers went up against 600 Gurkhas, armed with the Kukri. The British suffered massive losses, and the Gurkhas never surrendered. Thus began the legend and reputation of the Kukri. To test the lethality and function of your blade, I will take your Kukri and I will slash you these carcasses. Jason, you're up.
All right, let's go. My heart's beating. Anytime you cut bone, it's very, very hard on a blade. If you're gonna get a chip or something in your blade, it's gonna happen when you cut through bone.
Well, Jason, the beast over here, it cuts. Just the way it sliced through this time, I felt the nice curve in your design. This, sir, will kill.
Thank you.
Josh, you're up. You ready?
Let's do it. I'm half excited and half my pants.
Well, Josh, your blade didn't slash all the way through the carcasses, but it did cut, and those kinds of cuts will kill.
Jason, Josh, you were given 5 days at your home forge to design and fabricate signature kukris. You've both done a fantastic job. This was a very difficult decision, but there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Jason, congratulations. Josh, unfortunately, you did not make the cut.
Josh, when I saw your blade in the strength test, the way it performed, I expected it to continue performing that way, and your edge retention didn't hold up. So that's why I have to let you go.
Josh, please surrender your weapon.
I'm disappointed, but what I've learned from this experience is invaluable. And even though I didn't walk away with 10 grand today, I don't feel like a loser. So that's a really nice relief at the end of it.
Jason, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion, which comes with a $10,000 check.
Yes. I just won 10 grand. Oh, God almighty, I'm so happy right now. I can barely talk.
And you got a beast there. That thing, you get that motion, that's gonna keep going and going.
Oh, yeah.
That edge held up great.
Thank you. I came here to prove that I'm doing the right thing with my life, and I feel like I've accomplished all that. I'll be bragging about this for a long time to come.
My name is Ben Abbott. Been making blades since I was about 13 years old. I was born in Worcester, England, and I saw all the cool armor and weapons and stuff. Just decided to start making it for myself.
My name's Tom McGinnis. I'm 73 years old and love knife making. I made my first knife in 1958. I'm an old duck, but I'm gonna hang tough.
Ben, Tom, congratulations. You've made it to the Forged in Fire final. And now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon from history. The Khanda.
Oh.
The Khanda is a sword that gained popularity in medieval India during the Gupta period between 320 and 550 AD. The word Khanda is derived from the Sanskrit word khan, meaning to break, divide, cut, or destroy. Its wide, thick, straight blade was not only used for thrusting, but also as a hacking weapon. When a Rajput warrior was surrounded by the enemy, he would pull out the Khanda and fight to the end while swinging the blade with both hands, taking down as many enemies as he could in an honorable last stand. It has to be an authentic, working replica of that deadly weapon.
The mystery weapon's a Khanda. I think it's a real doable blade. I believe I can produce one.
Bladesmiths, good luck.
So it's day one. My strategy going into building this blade is that I'm going to make a couple of test blades. The most crucial part of this build is whatever I have to do to get it through the testing. I can make the prettiest thing in the world. If it snaps in two, I'm going to lose. I'm going to quench the sword. The quench went really well. Very excited about that. Now I have to dive into the handle. The handle is nothing like I've ever seen before. My last 10 hours working on this sword, gotta just finish grinding the blade. I wrap the handle in leather. It'll bulk out the handle and make it more comfortable so that it really kind of holds your hand snugly and feels really good. Holy cow. What a long journey.
It feels good to be back home where I have my own equipment. Today, I'm going to try and get the shapes of the guard and get the blade ground. The blade we had to make is designed for fighting, double-handed, and it had a big D-guard on it, and I'd never done that. It's quite an awesome blade. It's got the blade ground, seems to be going real good, and I'm going to try and get the handle all put together. I'm going to ask God to help me with this one. God answered my prayer. It's pretty straight if it'll just cool down. And I know this blade's going to cut. It's ready for the judges. Ben is going to contend with a tough old dog.
Tom, Ben, welcome back to the Forge. We will now be putting each of your weapons through 3 tests. Doug?
Bladesmiths, this is a kill test. To test the lethality and function of your weapon, I will take your weapon and deliver 3 vertical chops and then a slice. Ben, you're up. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
I'm a little bit nervous. There's a lot of bones in there, but this sword is made to cut, so let's see it cut.
Well, Ben, the damage that your blade did cut about 6 inches deep into both shoulders and right through the spine. On the horizontal slice, it pretty much cut all the way through. It's got a good feel. This, sir, will kill.
Thank you.
Tom, it's your turn. You ready?
I'm ready. I don't like losing at all. I like to win. In the kill test, I think it's doable. I really do.
Tom, you definitely cut in about 6 inches deep on the shoulders and about 8 inches into the spinal column. Cut halfway through into the carcass. Also feels good in balance with a downward vertical slice. There was a slight bend that's happening to your blade, but it will kill. Bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test. I will slash across these bungee cords. If your blade is sharp, it should cut all the way through. If not, it may just push it aside or bounce off. Ben, you're up. Are you ready?
Sure. At this point, I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna cut through all of them or if I'm gonna bounce off. I had no idea.
Well, Ben, your sword started to cut a little bit, but it did not cut through. It feels good on the slice. The handle is very comfortable in the hand. But once again, it didn't cut through, so it brings into question the sharpness. Tom, it's your turn. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
I really feel comfortable going into the test, and I know this blade's gonna cut. I'm ready. Ooh.
Well, Tom, it did cut a little bit into the bungee cord, but then, as you can see, that transference of energy went all the way back to the blade. It wasn't sharp enough to cut through, and it bent your blade. Which brings into question the heat treatment you did on your blade.
Cut around corners now.
It'll cut around corners this time, right? But in this particular case, it will not cut, sir.
When you don't have your hardening and tempering right on a blade, you don't have anything.
Gentlemen, both of your weapons failed in the sharpness test. Historically in battle, blades bent. Tom, we'd like to give you the opportunity to straighten your blade so that you can continue with this fight. However, we will be taking that bend into consideration when it comes to final judging.
I understand. Should have left it thicker, but I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna fight to the end.
Okay, Tom, you've straightened your blade. We can continue with testing. Dave.
Gentlemen, this is the strength test. I'm gonna take 5 chops into these copper pipes and see how far through we can split. Ben, are you ready?
Not at all. Yes. The last thing I would bring to a plumbing job is a sword. So I'm just nervous that the blade will break, just snap in two.
Well, Ben, it's still one piece, but barely. And the dimensions of your guard here on my hand are perfect. Your blade, it's held up beautifully. Nicely done.
Thank you.
So, Tom, your turn.
Okay.
All right.
I'm really nervous about the pipe cut. I should have spent more time on my blade, because that's what counts in the end.
Now, Tom, we do have that bend in your blade, and we know that there's at least a soft section in there.
Yeah.
So as I'm cutting, if I feel that there's a point where it's unsafe, I'm just gonna stop, all right?
Okay.
So, Tom, what happened is we lost a piece of the guard right there.
Yeah.
With the broken guard and the bend earlier, I feel it's unsafe to continue.
All right, thank you, Tom.
I'm disappointed. I know I could do better, but that's what happens when you don't use your time right.
Gentlemen, in just 5 days, you've both done an amazing amount of work on your Khandas. But in this arena, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Ben, you are the Forged in Fire champion. Tom, unfortunately, your weapon did not make the cut.
Tom, as I said before, your attention to detail is spot on. It's just that heat treat problem with that blade bending the way it did. Well, that's why we have to let you go.
Tom, please surrender your weapon.
Well, I got to meet some real nice craftsmen, and I learned. Don't let your age slow you down. You don't know how long you got.
Ben, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion and will be receiving a check for $10,000. Good job.
Thank you. Most people get guard sizes all wrong, and the Khanda has a deceptively small guard. You just hit it out of the park.
Thank you. It feels amazing to be the Forged in Fire champion. It's a wonderful validation of a long time of knife making, and I made new friends. I made 10 grand. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Tobin, Ron, good job. You made it through to the final.
Thank
you. You are both one challenge away from the title of Forged in Fire champion, and a check for $10,000.
My name is Ron Mazel. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. To me, bladesmith is an art form. People see me as a big, giant, 280-pound guy that's a little bit intimidating.
Tobin, how do you feel?
A little nauseous right now, but I'm ready. My name is Tobin Nieto. With every blade I make, there's a little bit of myself. Definitely ugly and dirty and raggedy enough to be used, and they end up looking like me.
In the final challenge, you'll be forging an iconic weapon from history. A cutlass.
Army hearties, we get to make a cutlass. I'm very excited about it.
The cutlass is a short, broad-bladed saber developed in Europe during the 16th century. Although it was made as a land weapon, it was quickly adopted as the sailor's weapon of choice, largely because it was strong enough to hack through ropes, canvas, and wood, but also because it was short enough to use in close-quarters combat. This made it popular amongst navies throughout the world. The last use of a cutlass in a boarding action by the British Royal Navy was recorded as late as 1941. Its effectiveness in battle also made the cutlass favored amongst pirates, as portrayed in the film franchise, The Pirates of the Caribbean. Good luck, gentlemen.
The design plan for my weapon is to keep it simple, clean, balanced. The first step is getting the whole material down to the right size that I want, onto about an inch. Now I'm just gonna concentrate on finishing the handle. I want then to split it into two, almost like a snake tongue. I gotta start my heat treating process. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth, I'm about to pull this blade out this oil and see what we have. I think we're good. Once I start grinding the blade, it's looking good, it's coming out. I think it will pass any kind of trashing they want to put it to. I'm in a $10,000 zombie killer. It feels really good. I mean, like, you will chop anything in half.
What I'm looking at doing is a blacksmith-style hilt with a kind of mangy, used cutlass style. I got my blade ground down. I got the weight at a point where I like it. So I'm gonna be forging a handguard for this particular cutlass. What I'm doing is a repaired blacksmith-type handle that would have been done in the New World during Spanish colonialism. It looks very tough and raw. Any enterprising pirate is gonna want a better grip. That's where the hemp comes into play. My number one priority going into this challenge was to make the blade battle ready. I know it's not aesthetically pretty, but it is gonna be a queen of destruction. Oh yeah. It will kill.
Gentlemen, the cutlass was a weapon that was specifically designed for naval combat, but was just as effective on land. Now, any pirate that went raiding would probably run into a situation where he needed to work his way through a barricade. So to test the strength of your weapons, we're gonna break our way through these crates. Tobin, you're up.
Do this! When I saw the crates, the only thing I could think of was those poor crates.
Well, Tobin, it's got a lot of weight to it. It's quite a heavy beast. I like the blacksmith guard, nice, but it's so long that your hand has a lot of room to travel in here. A bit of deformation and a couple of chips in the blade.
Okay.
But Tobin, this will definitely break through a barricade. Good job.
Thanks.
Ron, you're up next.
Let's do it. Going to the weapons test, it's nerve-wracking, but I'm hoping everything works out. It should have the weight on it to do the chopping.
So Ron, though your handle is very crude, it was actually pretty comfortable. Your blade shows no chipping, no damage. It's a little on the heavy side, but it didn't feel like it was pulling me forward. I was able to control the tip. But all in all, went through some crates.
To test the sharpness of your weapon, I will take your weapon and cut through fish and then rope. Tobin, you're up.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Well, Tobin, it's sharp enough to cut through the fish. It lacerated through the rope, but it didn't cut all the way through.
I hear the chunk of the blade go whoosh, right through the fish, and then I hear it hit the ground. Blah. Why did it not cut the rope? It's a bit of disbelief about that.
Ron, you're up next.
Go for it.
Well, Ron, definitely lacerated the fish, but it didn't slice all the way through. Your edge really isn't that sharp to cut all the way through.
Ron's blade doesn't go through the fish, but it cuts the rope. Huh.
Bladesmiths, this is the kill test. I will take your Cutlass and deliver offensive strikes to this ballistic dummy. Then we can see how much damage your Cutlass will deliver. Tobin, you're up. That cut right through the chest, a laceration into the pectoral muscle right here. Not much on this slash here, but huh. That's all the way through. It will kill.
Yeah.
Ron, you're up next. You ready?
I'm ready.
Ron, there are no visible marks. Unfortunately, your blade will not kill.
I'm completely shocked there's no damage on the dummy. I'm shocked.
Tobin, Ron, you've both done commendable work. But it's time for one of you to leave the forge and one of you to be declared the Forged in Fire champion. Tobin, congratulations, you are the Forged in Fire champion.
Thank you.
Ron, your blade did not make the cut.
Ron, we pushed your blade hard, held its edge through the strength test. But in the end, a Cutlass has to be a cut and thrust sword. And in the kill test, it just didn't perform.
Please surrender your weapon. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
I'm not bitter towards Tobin. I'm not bitter towards anybody. I had a great experience. Lesson that I learned today is to keep your blade sharp.
Tobin, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion, and you will be receiving a check for $10,000. How do you feel, man? How do you feel?
There's no words. Like, nothing's coming up. Freaking Ron, yeah! I'm in shock a little bit.
I like the overall look of your blade. I like the whole dark factor. I like the sweep to it, and I really like the edge geometry on it.
It's just strange. It's... I never win anything. And the fact that I want this, I need a nap.